Hello, I'm HQ of HQ Reacts. If you find yourself here and you're not subscribed, please like, share, and subscribe. If you find me on other social media platforms, please follow me, like, share, and subscribe. We are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. So, you can catch me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Hello, 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 all. Hello, 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 all. Oh, well, sorry I haven't been on a consistent basis every day, but video and audio sometimes don't like me, and I can't figure out how to figure it out. So I am here because I figured it out, I think. Hopefully, you can hear me and everything else. So, you see the thumbnail. Maga reality hurts too much. There's something strange that's going on in the world. And, I figured it out a couple months ago, in the way in which people talk to each other these days. Two people can watch the exact same video, hear the same words, look at the same information, and walk away believing completely different things. When I heard the phrase alternate facts, alternate facts, I was like, what in the heck is alternate facts? And it was confusing, frustrating, until you saw it in real time and in reality. But what's happening is not a new thing. It's not because people are stupid or psychologists have been studying this for decades. It's smart people who fall into the same trap too, right? It has a name. It explains a lot of what we are seeing these days, and it's called the cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is that uncomfortable feeling you get when something you believe runs into something that does not match it. Or it happens when new information threatens the belief that you already hold. And the human brain does not like that feeling at all, but it wants to stop it fast as possible. So you have these two opposing views inside your head. Even though you know one may be right or wrong, you still have these two examples. There is not a lot of understanding of this cognitive dissonance, but I'm gonna try to explain what we are seeing here. I'm not trying to shame anybody or make fun of anybody. This is just how the human mind reacts when it feels pressured or threatened. Okay, so at its core, cognitive dissonance happens when someone thinks of themselves as a reasonable, decent human being and then hears something that suggests they might be wrong about an important belief. We've seen that play itself out with this Minnesota shooting. This Minnesota shooting was a clear divide to me. It was a very clear divide. This clash that we all had when watching this video. It creates stress in the mind. It's not just a mild annoyance that we all differ. We all seen the same thing. Why is it that we all saw the same thing and came away from different takes? Came away with different takes. Okay? So this is what happened when we saw this video. But then cognitive dissonance, I'm talking about the cognitive dissonance that we have on the other side of the aisle, okay? Because people say we have it, but we seeing it play out in real time. So let me play TikTok.
Can't stand the fact that the world is moving.
Wait a minute, hold on. I don't want that one. Here we go.
This all started with Barack Obama. I'm not blaming Obama, but that's when Fox News and the right-wing propaganda started peppering their base with bullshit. Now, I'm sure it was going on before that, but that's when I really noticed it. Now we're seeing the culmination of well over a decade of them feeding bullshit and lies and hate and fear-mongering to their base. I keep getting comments, just ridiculous stuff about how liberals hate America, our liberals want child bride, our Democrats are Satanists, and the left wants to hurt America and make us communists. When they first started doing this shit, we just laughed. Like, they were literally going after Barack Obama over Dijon mustard. And we laughed because it was silly, it was stupid. But it was the baseline for eroding away the critical thinking skills of an entire population. So it's boiled down to everybody on the left is evil and only people on the right love America. And you got to be on the right because that's where the masculine people are, and everybody on the left is feminine and blue-haired, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So now they can get away with literally saying anything, and the right just jumps on it. So many examples, but the perfect one is, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets. What the fuck? That is such an asinine statement with no validity to it whatsoever. But yet, the right-wing propaganda arm pushes the story, the followers believe it, and then they start actually going up like, yes, there's evidence for this. And there is none. There's no evidence that they're chopping up dogs and eating cats and all this other garbage, but they believe it. And it piles on to the ridiculous beliefs that they already have. My point being is that they didn't come to these conclusions out of nowhere. They've literally been eroding their brains for well over a decade, if not longer. So when facts are presented, they don't see them as a critical attack on the thought process. They see it as an attack on themselves. So when somebody says trans people are attacking women in bathrooms, they just believe it. No evidence, no nothing. They just believe it. In reality, who's attacking women? Men. Priests, pastors, family members. But men. I guess the point of this long rant is that the Republican arm, the right-wing propaganda, has been building an Orwellian ideology. And they're not going to be able to see their way out of it. They're not going to be able to think their way out of it. No matter how many conversations we have with them, it doesn't seem to go anywhere because they already have this mindset that is fixed. And they've believed it for so long that Democrats and the left are evil that all they're left with is supporting a pedophile, denying reality, and hating everyone who doesn't have white skin. And I almost feel sorry for them because you can't break out of a circle that you don't know you're in. But I also know talking to them rarely helps. I had a conversation with a guy last night, and he proceeded to tell me that he pulled his daughters out of their high school sports because the coach was gay. I asked him why it mattered, and that was a conversation. Asked him how he knew, and somebody had suspected him of being gay. The volleyball coach, somebody had said that the coach was gay, and that was good enough for him to pull his kids out. And I said, so if the coach had been with a child sex trafficker, would that have been bad? Oh yeah, I would have pulled him, no problem. Okay. But yet you're supporting a pedophile. And his response was, he's not a pedophile. I said, yeah, but he's been pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. He's in the Epstein files, the multiple reports. Look at all the evidence lined up to support the idea that Trump's a pedo. And then on the stuff that he literally bragged about assaulting women, I was like, would you let that person be your kid's coach? He goes, no. Okay, well, that's the good answer. He goes, but that's not Trump. Trump's not like that. Like, he already accepted the fact that he wouldn't let somebody like that around his daughters, but yet can't accept the fact that that person is our president and he continues to support him. Like, I don't know what to do with that conversation. I don't know how to talk to somebody like that. I kept trying to, because I don't really know what else we can do at this point except have these conversations. So we'll keep trying, I guess. But man, it's pretty ridiculous when you think about it.
Maga, you really are the most pathetic cult of contradictions, where you're all about freedom but can't handle someone being free to exist without fitting into your little box of what's normal. You guys wave your dumb little flags around and scream about liberty while trying to legislate every uterus, every classroom, every bathroom, and every border like it's your own personal police state. You guys claim to be pro-life always while frothing at the mouth to control a woman's body, but then turn right around and cheer when another unarmed black kid gets shot dead by a cop. Where is your precious life then? Oh, that's right. It only matters before birth. After that, they can starve, get shot, or get deported. Just don't ask you to pay a dime in taxes to help them out, right? You pound the Bible to justify your hatred of LGBTQ people as if Jesus ever said a damn thing about who someone loves. But the moment a kid gets shot in school, suddenly your God is silent. Suddenly it's thoughts and prayers, right? Not policies and change. You're all for saving the kids, unless one of those kids are trans, gay, or just trying to exist without your hateful ass breathing down their neck. And let's talk about immigrants. You want them out? Sure. Except for the ones building your houses, cooking your food, or cleaning up after your lazy, entitled, bootlicking asses. You scream about law and order, but where's your law and order when McDonald Trump's out here robbing the country blind or making a cryptocurrency where he pockets millions? When he's pardoning criminals, looting the government, and letting his cronies run wild? Oh, that's right also. You don't care because as long as he hates the same people you do, he gets a free pass. You say you love America, but the moment someone wants to learn actual history, the kind that shows how this country was built on the backs of enslaved people and immigrants, you lose your damn mind. You want schools to teach whitewashed fairy tales while banning books that make you feel uncomfortable. You call yourself patriots, but you can't even handle the truth. MAGA, you're not patriots, you're not Christians, you're not even pro-life. You're just a bunch of fragile, angry hypocrites who can't stand the fact that the world is moving on without you.
So I'm just leaving my MAGA client's house, and his wife came downstairs while we were training. Donald Trump came up. They brought him up, talking about the stock market being up 500 points today. And I said, well, who cares? I said, the economy is grinding to a halt. It's, we're losing jobs hand over fist. Inflation is up. It's not good. It's not a good situation we're in right now. Just because the stock market's up, that doesn't mean anything. The more it goes up, the bigger it's going to fall. That's all that means to me. And it's going to fall. It's just a matter of when, not if. So then she brought up how he was doing good things for the farmers. And I said, well, he's bailing out the farmers, which is socialism, because of his tariffs. And then she went on into some convoluted explanation about NATO countries not doing their part, and how China was watching our farmers and how they do things, and they were taking that back to their country, and none of it really made sense. But I went with, well, regardless of what you think about what the other countries were doing, whether it be China or other NATO countries, like, why does that justify him hurting Americans here now? And she didn't. She just kept going with, well, he's not hurting Americans and farmers. He's trying to help them. And I said, but it's because of his tariffs. His tariffs are doing it. And I said, oh, also, did you know that JD Vance is invested in a company called Acre Trader that actually buys farmland? And so you have a president who is enacting policies that is bankrupting farms. And you have JD Vance, the vice president, who is invested in a company that is buying up those bankrupted farms. I said, and her husband actually started laughing. And I said, even he gets it. Like, I'm working on him. He gets it. He can sense corruption when he sees it. So, and she didn't really have too much to say after that, and we let it go. But it was very gratifying, very satisfying. So, anyways, have a great weekend. I'm sure I'll be.
So every day I get on this here app and I see more and more countries coming together not out of love for one another, right? Not out of world peace. They're coming together because our government is trying to hurt people for fun, because that's the stock that they come from. That's the history that they come from. They hurt people for fun. And now they've made it to and then I have to get up here and I still have to see people in these goofy ass hats. I live in a part of Indiana where during the elections there were those flags everywhere. There was a man, he literally on his fence, he said, you know, go this administration. I refuse to say that fucker's name. I really do. Like, he said, go this administration, clear him out, round him up. He was like, Jesus Christ is king and dump truck is his leader or something. Like, it was some bullshit. And now silence. Silence. Nobody has that rhetoric up anymore. Nobody has that foolishness up anymore. The messed up part about it is that some of y'all think that because of y'all's privilege, because of the color that your skin, that other countries won't come over here and rock your shit. You think that you won't wake up and the shit look like Gaza. They don't give a fuck about what God you serve. They don't give a fuck about that you paying your taxes. If you start something, there's gonna be some foolishness. And all these rich motherfuckers want to send our kids to war. Bitch, send your fucking child. How come when we finally start to get our lives together, how come when we finally start to pull ahead as minorities, as women, as LGBTQ, as literally anything, because they're coming after everybody? How come when we finally get this shit together and we finally have some modicum of peace? I literally told people during this person's first term that he, because of his personality type, he was going to retaliate against the American people for voting in a black man. And keep in mind, that black man was the best president we have ever had, ever. Argue with your mama, I don't give a fuck. Because he was... If Obama had done even a quarter, if he had even said part of what he wanted to do, if it even sounded remotely like what is happening right now, he would have been impeached. This administration, when they had their first term, they weren't able to do all of what they wanted to do because of COVID. And I thank God for COVID, which is awful to say because there's so many people that passed. And I'm so sorry for those people. I had people that passed. I had multiple people that fucking passed. But thank God for COVID. Because it stopped his ass from doing a lot of what he wanted to do. And I told y'all he was going to retaliate. I literally told y'all because of his personality type, he is going to he's going to pick out a minority. He's going to demonize that minority. That's what he's doing. I said he's going to make all these goofy ass laws to benefit him and his friends, and he's going to take all of our money. That's what he's doing. I said he's going to literally destroy America. That's what he's doing. He is picking on other countries. He is poking the bear so that they will retaliate against us instead of just going after his ass. That's what he's fucking doing! And I know a lot of y'all are going to get on here and call me a liberal. Bitch, I don't care. Everybody deserves to eat. Everybody deserves to have clean water and air. Bitch, you're here too. That includes you. You fucking dumbass. That includes you. Unlike y'all, we're not trying to leave y'all out of the equation. We want that shit for everybody. Everybody. You fucking dumbass. And now you've doomed us all.
This is wild. So the brain rejects facts. The belief is challenged. The brain does not calmly ask whether the new information might be trusted. They just take it in. There's a lot of hurt people out here. Okay? It's a lot of hurt people out here. It's embarrassing. You cannot admit when you have gone wrong. She said not one fact. She said her facts. She said her facts. Okay? She said a lot of people's facts. It wasn't just her fact. She was speaking for a lot of people. Okay? A lot of people. Here we go. Get her off the screen, young lady. Sorry for you. Here we go.
Chances are good that you've heard of something called cognitive dissonance. It's a term that's starting to get thrown around a lot these days. But you might not know that it has a really deep root in classic social psychology. In 1957, Leon Festinger wrote a book on the theory of cognitive dissonance and outlined a really detailed understanding of what cognitive dissonance is and how people deal with it. Let's start out by talking about what cognitive dissonance is. How would we define it? At the very basics, cognitive dissonance is about inconsistency. When we hold two thoughts that are inconsistent with one another, basically, that's dissonance.
Basically, that's dissonance. That's dissonance. People have known this response for a long time. When facts make people uncomfortable, we have people in the chat don't want to hear the truth from real people, real things. That doesn't mean that facts are wrong. They're other people's facts. There's no alternate facts. It's just facts that you don't want to accept. Okay? One common misunderstanding is that only smart people or uneducated people, smart people understand cognitive dissonance. Excuse me. That's not true. Intelligent people get caught up. A lot of intelligent people get caught up. And we see that today. We see a lot of that today. Being smart can make it easier to come up with reasons to protect your brain, but you still can fall for this cognitive dissonance. It don't care how intelligent you are. It cares about how attached they are to the belief. Listen to this person.
Percent of influence is weaponizing cognitive dissonance.
Wow.
And no one ever says it.
Wow. Can you expand on what does that mean, weaponizing cognitive dissonance? What does that mean?
So, and take a super basic example here. And you can, the moment I say this, your mind's going to kind of extrapolate from all of this.
Okay.
Is I get you to agree to a little piece of identity, and I guarantee your behavior in the future. And the moment I get you to agree to a little piece of identity, I can increase the chances by like 90%. You're going to agree to this next little small piece. So like we talked about compliance escalation, this is identity escalation.
Okay.
So if I walked in here and I was like, dude, I got a question for you. Have you always been this open with other people, or is this something you had to work on? The moment you answered that question, you have now made an agreement to act a certain way with me.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you've also made an agreement that most people are not.
Interesting.
Or I don't even have to talk about your identity. I can get you to agree that most people live in these prisons of worrying about what people think. They live in these prisons of self-doubt.
I see.
And they're like, yeah. And the moment I get you to agree that that's those other people, I'm covertly getting you to agree to behave a certain way.
And this is where we're at. Okay. It becomes, this cognitive dissonance becomes even stronger in emotionally charged environments like our political environment. When people feel attacked, dismissed, or looked down on, those beliefs harden out. New information no longer feels neutral. This is where we're at. It feels hostile. At this point, people are not looking for understanding. They're looking for relief. Okay? When a belief becomes part of somebody's identity, disagreement feels personal. Okay? Where did people get this idea that Democrats were liars, terrorists, X, Y, and Z? The people who stepped into that void to say that, to promote that, to put it out there like that, exactly like that, was the Fox News propaganda wing arm of the Republican Party. And I can tell it started with Obama. It started with Obama. Exactly. Okay. As soon as that reality hit that you had a black president, this is when all of these alternate facts started coming out. Okay. This is when stuff started to go off the rails. Fox News. My God. Fox News, you name it. Any right-wing propaganda. I want everybody to check themselves on this one thing. When you guys listen to that Caroline Leavitt, listen to the Caroline Leavitt. I want you to listen to her 5 days in a row. Okay? I want you to listen to 5 days in a row of Caroline Leavitt. And notice the way she talks. I'm not saying listen to her, what she said. I'm saying listen to how she talks about the Democratic Party. Listen to how she talks about it. She uses certain words every time she speaks. She has trained you all to say those same words, because I noticed that people in the chat say the same phrasing, has the same thought pattern as that Caroline Leavitt. Also, go to Fox News. And Fox News has the same thought pattern. It's always look at the left. The left, let's blame the left. Biden did it. Democratic Socialists, Democratic wing, they're un-American, anti-social, they hate the police, Antifa. It's always those messages. It's always those messages. And nobody ever checks it. Nobody ever checks. Nobody on the right ever checks any of that. Caroline Leavitt is the press secretary for the president. She's the press secretary for the president. Okay? And nobody ever checks the fact that she's supposed to be the right wing, what is it? The secretary for everyone, including Democrats. But it's never something related to the Democrats. It's always related to right wing. And this is the problem that we have with Caroline Leavitt. She never presents the facts. It's always propaganda. Let me put her on chat. And this is the thing. They're training you all. They're not training me, because I understand exactly what she's doing. Let's see if she does it here. Put her on the screen.
In the next couple of weeks.
Listen.
At just a 2.4% annualized rate, substantially lower than the 3.3% annual rate inherited from the Biden administration last January. Importantly, as inflation cools, Americans' wages are rising, giving the American people.
When did that happen? When have our wages been higher? I don't know about nobody else, but I ain't never seen no wages get higher in the last couple of years. I don't know where anybody gets that from. What wages? I ain't never said, hey, my wages don't go up like that. I don't know what she's talking about. This is a propaganda. This is what people are training. They are training. The White House is training. If you believe what they say, they're training.
More purchasing power. And with what is likely going to be a record-breaking tax refund season in the next couple of weeks, the American people will be reaping the rewards of the massive tax cuts that were signed into law by the president.
Now, we're not gonna go with massive tax cuts are good. Massive tax cuts have been bad and devastating for the country. Let's be sure. So what are we going to reap? What are we going to reap? Or what good are we going to reap when it comes to to these tariffs? What? But they keep you on pins and needles about $2,000 or $5,000. And these things never come into fruition.
Thanks to President Trump's signing of no tax on tips.
No tax on tips. We already debunked that garbage. Most people don't work for tips. And that's just a normal, everyday standard deduction for people who make tips.
Overtime, Social Security, boosting the child tax credit, and locking in the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Independent estimates project the average American tax filer could expect up to an extra $1,000 bump.
I swear to God, tax papers or W-2s have come out. I want to see who comes back here and they got an extra $1,000 on their taxes. I want to see the extra $1,000 on their taxes. This is what I want to see.
To their tax refund next year. This is going to be a helpful boost to working families who are making ends meet. On the energy front, the national average price for a gallon of regular gas this week fell to its lowest.
I don't understand why people believe or think that the president has influence on the gas. He has no influence on the gas. He has nothing to do with the gas. I don't understand why people keep bringing this up as though this is something. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. Let's be clear. I don't want my audience to run out of here saying, oh shit, Trump got us gas prices cheaper. Trump didn't do anything about gas pricing. The president has nothing to do with gas pricing. I'm pointing to you the script that these people are running towards the American people. And if you believe the script, then you fall into this cognitive dissonance that I'm talking about. It's not a thing. President doesn't influence gas. Not a thing. He has nothing to do with gas. Not a thing. He's not OPEC or anything else. It's not a thing.
Level in 5 years, thanks to President Trump's drill baby drill agenda. According to Gas Buddy, the average price for regular gas on Monday was below $3 per gallon in 43 states, below $2.75 per gallon in 30 states, and at or below $2.50 per gallon in 17 states.
And so a lot of y'all run with that narrative. Oh my God, they're talking about gas. Oh, the president lowered gas. The president didn't do anything with gas. He does nothing for gas. He's not in OPEC. He's not oil baron. He has nothing to do with that. Okay? Nothing to do with that.
States. In fact, gas prices were below $2 a gallon at stations in at least 19 states. Don't forget, this was unheard.
Everything but gas went up. Everything but gas went up. But if they say this all the time, people believe it. Yeah. Give me another one. Okay. What is he working on? So I still haven't gotten a straight answer from anyone. They ran this campaign for the for people who fall for these kind of garbage. They ran this campaign. What did the big beautiful bill do for any of us normal, everyday, average people? What did it do? Because I haven't heard anybody put anything in our chat, anything in the chat, anything on a website, on a post, on anything. I haven't seen anyone do anything related to the big beautiful bill. My understanding is the big beautiful bill helped the billionaires. It didn't help any poor people. I did my research. I'm still looking to find out, what did this big beautiful bill do for you? I know what it did for the rich people. I get that. I understand the tax on tips and all that. But I still don't understand what it did for you as a regular, ordinary American. And nobody has been able to put it in the chat or articulate it. What did it do?
Heard of just a
Oh, well, that's the first time she has ever had a press conference and she didn't run her mouth ignorantly. Wait a minute, hold on. I always gotta look. Hold on. I always gotta look for her. Okay, now when she come in the room and her demeanor is no smile and she's chomping at the bit, this is when she's about to say some wild shit. But you notice every time they get in front of the camera, it's always about Joe Biden's failed leadership. And let me put this on the table. When we got in, let's start with Obama. George Bush, a Republican, ran the economy or helped to run the economy into the ground because he did tax cuts and I think he did tariffs too. But they never did anything for the American people. This is what George Bush did, George Bush Jr. So George Bush Jr. ran the car off the road. Obama got the car back onto the road and he got the car fixed and the car was rolling. Then Donald Trump came into office and Donald Trump ran the car off with on the road, ran the car off the road. He had tax cuts and he did the tariffs. So when a Republican gets into office, a Republican normally veers the economy off the track and then we start stuttering in the car. So Obama got the car back on the road. Donald Trump ran the car into the ditch. Donald Trump and COVID ran the car into the ditch. Okay. Biden got the car out of the ditch, but he didn't get the car started. That was the difference. He didn't get it started. And now we're back into the ditch because of the policies of Donald Trump yet again. Donald Trump yet again. Tax cuts, tariffs, cutting the social safety net. All of these things occurred under Trump. So every time we do something with the American people or we try to get the economy rolling, we always end up dealing with a Republican policy that drives us off the cliff. Okay? We always do. And they always have a script every time they speak because we have a electorate that is susceptible to cognitive dissonance. And this is where we're at. If you listen to this Caroline Levitt, if you listen to her, If you listen to this lady, here she is. Wait a minute. If you listen to her, it's always the same message. And they're training people to believe the message. It's always Biden did it, because a lot of you in the chat say Biden did it. Biden did it. Biden was the worst president. Everybody, it's always a Democratic president that's a bad president. It's never the Republican president, even though the Republicans have the worst record with the American economy. Every time we have gotten out of the a economic slump, it has been a Democratic president. So whenever a Republican president gets into office, they do three things. They do tax cuts, they do tariffs, then they try to cut the social safety nets. They do those three things. And every time they do those three things, they run the economy off the rails. That's it. You can go back and check. I don't need to explain that. It's all of our facts are the same. We can't do anything about it. But when this young lady talks, she's playing into that cognitive dissonance that seems to plague the right side of our politics.
Immigration officers were wasting their finite time and resources processing dangerous illegal aliens for release into.
And you notice every time they speak about aliens, every time they speak about illegal, undocumented, they're undocumented aliens. Every time they speak about illegal aliens or undocumented aliens, it's always the same wording. And with the same wording, they train people. So they have trained a lot of you. They have trained a lot of people to use the word illegal alien. They've trained a lot of people that those illegal aliens are dangerous. They're dangerous. They kill people. They have worse, and they have less criminal records than regular, average, everyday Americans. But yet and still, you have people in the chat who repeat that same cycle of, oh my goodness, the undocumented, they're dangerous criminals and blah blah blah. It's the reason why you believe that is because you've been trained to believe that. And this young lady right here has been a major part in training your brain to think that illegal immigrants are dangerous when they're less dangerous than Americans.
The United States. President Trump immediately terminated that reckless Biden era practice that undermined
the reckless Biden era thing. You notice the words that they use.
Rule of law, jeopardized public safety and our national security, and diverted critical resources away from stopping deadly drugs and violent criminals from entering our country.
And you notice before he ran into Venezuela, before they ran into Venezuela, they were given the script. Let the American people know that we're blowing boats up because of drugs. That has been a lie. Why nobody sees through that? It was never about any kind of drugs. Venezuela doesn't bring in fentanyl. Venezuela brings in cocaine. Venezuela is known for cocaine. Let me re-say that again. Venezuela is known for cocaine, not fentanyl. Fentanyl comes from Mexico. So even before they invaded Venezuela, they made the script up. And you all believed it because I was having arguments in the chat. Oh no, they're bringing the drugs into the United States. Venezuela was not bringing any drugs to that significant proportion. They were not bringing drugs into the United States. Yet you will sit and you will hear people make that argument. Oh no, they were bringing drugs into the United States. No, they weren't. That was just the excuse that the administration was making in order to go and invade Venezuela. That's all that was. It was a ruse. It was a trail so that you would be okay with them going into Venezuela. And some of y'all are okay with them going into Venezuela. Even though it's an illegal act, you believe going into Venezuela because they say, oh no, those Venezuelan people are bringing us drugs and whatnot. which was a total and complete lie. Which was a total and complete lie. Not to the extent that they said it was. Let's put it that way. Not to the extent that they said it was. Not to the extent that we needed to be blowing up innocent people. Innocent people. And not to the extent that we needed to invade Venezuela. But they didn't invade Venezuela because of drugs. They invaded Venezuela because Donald Trump wanted to own their oil. But this is the lie that they sold. This was and when you believed it, when some of y'all believed it, y'all believed the lie. When you knew it was a lie, you were confronted with a lie. You knew it was a lie because that wasn't why they went into Venezuela. It's still the cognitive dissonance is fact. Is hard. It's solidified in your mind. I don't know. I don't know. It really wasn't drugs. He really wanted the oil. Now everybody knows that he wanted to get the oil. So now you don't think about them drugs no more, do you? Ain't nobody thought about them drugs no more, did they? Now they talking about him invading Greenland. What happened to the drugs?
Country. That's the reason why not a single illegal alien was released into the interior of the United States in the month of May. And as a result, we now...
Because half of y'all believe that the other countries have been releasing all they drug-infested criminals, insane asylum people. Half of y'all believe that. Just like half of y'all believed that they were eating cats and dogs in Minnesota. Wait a minute.
Now have a border that is reaching unprecedented levels of operational success. The efforts by President Trump to stop the illegal immigrant invasion and secure the border in this short amount of time represent one of the greatest achievements by a presidential administration in the history of our great country. With illegal entries being overwhelmingly halted, the Trump administration is dramatically ramping up efforts to arrest and deport all of the millions of criminal illegal aliens that Joe Biden let into our...
And all of y'all know that ain't true. Why do y'all know that's not true? Because Minnesota, this right here is a video from 7 months ago. This is a video from 7 months ago. You notice the framing already. You notice the framing. She's saying Donald Trump is trying to get the illegal aliens. It's millions of them. Actually, the record says we have about 14 million illegal aliens. That's it. And the bulk of them are law-abiding people. Okay? And the bulk of them. So it's not millions of people in here that are illegal, insane asylum, or anything else. But that's how they want to sell it to you. And if you believe it, you never looked at the facts or you never went to do any kind of research. You just believe what they say. All I'm saying is this is how this cognitive, I hate to say that word, cognitive dissonance started with people like her and channels like Fox News, because you listened to what they were saying and you believed it. Even though there was contrary evidence, you still believed it. And to this day, there's people who still believe that they were eating cats and dogs. Make that shit make sense.
Our country over the past 4 years. President Trump has directed all of our ICE officers to do everything in their power to carry out the single largest mass deportation operation,
including killing regular, ordinary Americans. Yeah, including killing ordinary Americans. So this is where we at. Killing ordinary Americans. And you know why this has happened? Because they're trying to tap down on dissent. Tap down on people who think differently, who want to think differently, who have different thoughts. But they are trying to train you, and they are training you, because some of y'all are using that rhetoric in the chat. You're using the same rhetoric as they're using. So I know you believe it. And I know you're listening to this president say this goofy shit and her say this goofy shit.
Operation in history. Illegal criminals who are hiding in America's largest so-called sanctuary cities will be increasingly targeted for removal. Radical Democrats will no longer be allowed to shelter illegals who threaten public safety as part of their cynical efforts to expand political power. drain the American taxpayer, and artificially lower wages and steal American jobs. ICE officers are courageous heroes, upholding the rule of law and keeping our citizens safe. And they have the full and unwavering support of this president. In economic news, President Trump's pro-growth agenda is delivering for the American worker. Through the first 5 months of the Trump administration, real blue-collar wages are up nearly 2%. It's the strongest growth in nearly 60 years and a stark contrast from the negative wage growth seen during the first 5 months of the Biden administration. America is quickly returning to the successful formula of the first Trump administration.
See, and this is what we're believing. We are, but not we. It's only a certain amount that believe this. This is what we're talking about. You're being trained. You have to listen to what people are saying. Everybody knows that their wages, their money ain't went up nowhere. Everybody knows that their money ain't went up nowhere. Everybody knows that their money ain't went up nowhere. So what is she talking about? She's trying to train you to believe. She got charts, graphs, everything else. Train you to believe that what you know to be true is is a lie, and what she's saying is the truth. This is the way she's talking, as though we're going to believe everything. Stop believing the shit they say, because all the way from the beginning, they have been lying to the American public. All the way. You know your damn money ain't went up. You know damn well your wages ain't went up. You know damn well they've been laying off people left, right, and center where you work at, here, there, everywhere. When the hell is the damn wages went up? But they say this every day. The wages went up. You got the best job ever. You're going the best economy is around the corner. Stop listening to what they say and ask why are they saying it. That's crazy. This is wild.
Administration, low inflation and rising wages. Once the big beautiful bill is passed, this positive trend will only accelerate. Senate Republicans are
the big beautiful bill hadn't even went anywhere. And we got amazing job growth, but the big beautiful bill ain't even went. What? All I'm saying is, people start thinking about what they saying to you. Start thinking about what they're saying instead of just taking it at face value. And a lot of y'all took it as face value. I can tell, because a lot of you still. You don't even know no Democrats, because most people don't even say nothing about being a Democrat. And you on here talking about Democrats are evil. And Biden did it. That's wild. I know that's what people say. People say it don't work because the dissonance is strong with y'all. It's strong. Even though everybody says Donald Trump is X, Y, and Z. We all know he's a piece of shit. Everybody knows he's a piece of shit. But you gotta reconcile the piece of shit with the godlike mentality inside your head. You gotta recognize that. You gotta reconcile that. And a lot of y'all don't know how to reconcile that because you're caught in the loop. You're caught in the loop of believing Donald Trump is a savior somehow, some way. I don't know. And yet and still you know that he is a graper of young women. But you got to live with the fact that you voted for a rapist. You got to live with the fact that you understand he's a felon. You have to live with the fact that he committed things against the Constitution. You have to live with all of these facts. But they got to reconcile themselves inside your head, because this is your guy. This is the guy you voted for. You voted for this guy. You voted for this 34 felon. You voted for this guy who rapes women. You voted for this guy who invades countries. You voted for this guy who said he wasn't going to start in the wars, but he did. You voted for this guy who bankrupted the farmers. You voted for this guy who drove the economy in a ditch. You voted for this guy. And you need to reconcile that to the fact that this person is not a good person. And this person never had your good purpose in mind. I'm just saying, you've been trained. A lot of y'all been trained. And if you listen to this lady right here at face value, I know you've been trained. A lot of y'all still saying Donald Trump is not in the Epstein files when he is. When he is. That's wild. This is cognitive dissonance for real.
Continuing to push this critical legislation forward. The One Big Beautiful Bill will drive growth and supercharge the American economy. The Council of Economic Advisors found that the One Big Beautiful Bill will raise take-home pay by nearly $14,000.
Exactly how? Exactly how is that big, beautiful bill going to raise our money? How? Somebody put it in chat. How does that raise our money? I want to know. Because I ain't seen no raise in my wages yet. I ain't seen jack. I ain't seen a change yet. So somebody please explain to me where this money coming from that we going to get a raise on. She just had it on the screen. It's wild.
For a year for the average family of 4. The CEA also found that the One Big Beautiful Bill will increase wages as much as $11,000 for the average worker in America. The One Big Beautiful Bill expands the child tax credit and makes it permanent for more than 40 million families with children. And the bill will deliver no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and substantial tax cuts for our incredible seniors. Simply put, the One Big Beautiful Bill is a massive win.
So let's do the math, y'all. You in the Big Beautiful Bill, and then let's take it at its face value. The Big Beautiful Bill is going to give you taxes on tips and taxes on overtime, right? No tax. Okay, that's what they said. So grocery prices keep going up. Everything keep going up. If I go and buy 2 steaks, just for example, because I looked at them the other day, I go and buy 2 steaks. That's $25 for 2 steaks. 2 small New York strip steaks. $25. I go buy hamburger, and hamburger is like $20 for like 2 pounds, 3 pounds. How the hell is no tax on overtime going to help us when the food pricing is going up every day? Everybody got to eat every day. There ain't no prices that went down. Ain't no prices went down. Okay. Ain't nothing went down. Everything done went up. Okay. Everything. Gas prices have probably stayed somewhat equal, but the president don't have anything to do with gas pricing. So if you are getting food raised, the price of food raises or rises every month, what money are you saving on the back end of no tax on tips? No tax on overtime thing. How much money are you really saving? Okay. This is wild. And inflation is going up. Make it make sense.
For middle-class Americans. When nearly 80 million Americans sent President Trump back to this White House, they were doing so expecting these popular policies to be enacted.
They're not popular policies. None of the policies are popular. Republicans don't have policies that are popular. They have policies related to rich people. They don't have policies related to poor people. They're only rich people policies. Okay? Only rich people policies. Eggs were not high because of goddamn Donald Trump. What in the hell is wrong with y'all? We had a bird flu. We had a bird flu. Somebody please explain the doofus. Wraith Nicks. Please explain to Wraith Nicks that we had a bird flu and the birds, they had to throw out all the eggs in the kitty. They had to throw out all the eggs in the kitty. So when they got eggs, the prices were high until they stabilized the eggs and they got rid of the bird flu eggs. Please explain to Wraith Nicks, Goofy. Please explain to him that. Donald Trump ain't got nothing to do with eggs. Got nothing to do with him lowering eggs. Please explain that to Goofy. Please explain to Goofy about the bird flu. Please explain.
Republicans in Congress have a mandate to deliver, and President Trump demands they send this historic bill to his desk for signature by Independence Day, July 4th. The American people are fully behind President Trump.
And anybody else who believes everything this person is saying, you have to have a discerning eye, because they're leading you down a certain, they trying to make you believe what ain't true. Okay? Everybody saw what they eye. Everybody saw what they lying eye. Everybody saw what they eye. What happened to that lady? Okay? Everybody. And yet and still, this administration came up talking goofy. No, you didn't see what you saw. You didn't see what you saw. I don't know why y'all believe that. It's because they're trying to make you believe something that's not true. And then in your mind, you know it's not true. But yet you take it in, and then now you're denying what happened. Now you're denying what your eyes see. Okay? You see this phrase right here? You see this phrase right here? This is how I know y'all. I know you I know you're under the zombie thing. I know you're under that zombie thing, because most of y'all don't even know Democrats. And yet and still you were raised to believe Democrats were liars. And Republicans are amazing. The Republicans are amazing. But it's only the Democrats that are the ones that are bad. This is how I know. You got that information from Fox News. People started telling you you're indoctrinated. That's what happened. I can't help it. You were susceptible to the indoctrination. I can't help that. The point is for you to know that you're indoctrinated. And a lot of y'all don't want to know that you're indoctrinated. Okay? And I'm just saying, you need to watch those things. You need to listen to what they're saying. Okay? And this is how cognitive dissonance happens. You know it's not true. Your brain saw that car. And yet and still, you believed what this lady said. I can't seem to find that damn video. The lady outside. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull that lady up. Hold on. I'm gonna pull that lady up. She was on, what the hell channel was she on? It was Jake Tapper and Christy Nome. Right? Yeah, here she go. Hold on. Y'all give me some grace. People give me some grace. Okay, hold on. Give me some grace. I give y'all grace all the fucking time. Give me grace. Because some of y'all be talking way reckless out of the side of your neck. I give you grace all the time. Listen.
We should note was Wednesday at 10:37 a.m. Eastern. Just over 2 hours later, the Department of Homeland Security put out a statement definitively asserting what had happened, defending the ICE agent, accusing Renee Good of domestic terrorism. That's a characterization that you reiterated in a press conference half an hour later. Now, Republican Senator Tom Tillis said, quote, "It was very unusual to have a senior law enforcement official to draw a conclusion about an event where the scene was still being processed. Generally speaking, law enforcement would recognize that a life was lost, that families are changed forever, the shooter's life will change forever. We're collecting video, we're trying to assess.
Why exactly is the shooter's life going to be changed forever? Why exactly not Renee Good's family's life going to be changed forever? But you notice she came out, or the administration came out and said this was a justified homicide half an hour after it happened, when this never should have had any kind of commentary about it. But see, they're trying to control the narrative, and a lot of y'all believe it instead of looking at what they're saying. Why? Who's saying what? Why are they saying what they're saying? Why are they saying Democrats are evil? Democrats are what? None of y'all question this. You just go along with it. You don't know anything about Democrats. You don't know anything about Democratic or what they think, how they think, blah, blah, blah. None of that. But this administration is good. But this has been since the beginning of when Trump got into office. Trump has been saying this shit from day one, and you believed it without any forethought. This is when the mind is more susceptible to this kind of programming. If you believe, you take everything they say, you take everything this administration says as though it's gospel, then you're one of the people you're one of the susceptible people who believes a lot of stuff. No, I don't believe anything this administration says. I don't believe anything anybody says until I actually fact check it and run it down. Do you all fact check and run it down, or do you just believe what you hear? Because a lot of y'all still believed that this was a justified homicide when it wasn't.
That's the situation. Why did you not wait for an investigation before making your comments?
Because they wanted to control the narrative. They wanted to control what was said. They wanted to control what you believed. Okay? They wanted to control what you believed. If that's the only reason why she came out and started saying this stuff out into the public, because she wanted to get a hold of the narrative, and everybody else be damned about what they saw. Be damned about what they saw.
Well, everything that I've said has been proven to be factual and the truth. This administration wants to operate in transparency. I have the responsibility as the secretary.
And you notice they keep saying, every person that talks about this administration, every time they talk to people in this administration, they always say the same thing. This is the most transparent organization. When this is the least transparent organization that has ever run the White House. The least transparent. Because if I see the facts, if I look at the facts and you try to tell me those facts mean something else, that means you're trying to spin a narrative. If the bulk of us say that this homicide happened and it's a homicide, and you as the administration try to tell us it's not, that means you're trying to spin a narrative past what we all see.
Secretary of Homeland Security to know this information as soon as possible, had just been in Minneapolis the day before, had already had conversations with officers on the ground and supervisors, and knew the facts, and decided that the department and the people of this country deserve to know the truth of the situation of what had.
And she said the truth came out of their mouth like instantly. No investigation. This is propaganda, and they're trying to make you see. They're trying to make you believe what ain't true. Okay? They trying to say, don't believe your lying eyes. That's what they trying to make you sit and make. This is what is called cognitive dissonance. Make them believe whatever you want them to believe. Let's look at this one. And she's good at that. This lady is very good at that. Hold on. This lady is very good at that. Give me some grace. Like I said, give me some grace. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Where it's at? Right here. Hold on.
This angle posted to social media shows agents repeatedly telling the driver to get out of the car. The driver then backs up, and as soon as she drives forward.
And you know what? I was trying to figure out, why did this lady speed up? Why did this lady try to speed up? The lady tried to speed up because she saw the gun in his hand. She saw the gun in his hand, and she panicked. That's how that happened. That's how the car speeded up the way it did, and she had been shot, which accelerated the car up even more.
You hear 3 shots fired. A federal agent This angle posted to social media shows agents repeatedly telling the driver to get out of the car.
No matter whether they told her to get out of the car or not. No matter whether they told her to get out of the car or not. The ICE agent stood in front of her car, changed the phone from his dominant hand to his non-dominant hand. He changed the phone from his dominant hand to his non-dominant hand. If he was in that much danger, why did he have a cell phone walking around her car? Because he knew he wasn't in danger. That wasn't the threat. The car wasn't the threat. So when did he decide between pulling the gun and shooting? When did he decide that she was a threat? She was never a threat. He knows that she was never a threat. We can surmise a lot of things from this video. She saw him. She was not antagonizing him. Don't pull that lie. We heard the lady say, "I'm not mad at you, dude. I'm not mad at you, dude." We saw him switch the phone from his regular hand to his dominant hand. If he was that scared of what was going on,
shot at somebody.
okay. If he was afraid of all of that, was he afraid of being shot? He was afraid of being run over. Why did he do that?
This car crashed. You're criminal. You're criminal.
This new video shared with CNN shows the moments before Renee Good is fatally shot in Minneapolis. Here, Good's SUV is partially blocking traffic on the street as drivers are honking and residents are blowing whistles. Several vehicles on the street appear to belong to federal agents. Lynette Riney Grandel, a resident who shot this video and started filming approximately 2 minutes before the shooting, lives nearby and told CNN she was trying to figure out why there were so many ICE vehicles on the street. About a minute before the shooting, agents can be seen getting out of some vehicles and walking toward Good's SUV. Moments later, gunshots are heard. Less than a minute after the shooting, the video captures ICE agent Jonathan Ross walking by.
What did that guys do?
So the thing was, even if you thought your life was in danger, there's several reasons why this is an unjustified shooting. Nothing to do with what she said, what she did, anything like that. The young lady wasn't angry. The young lady wasn't trying to run anybody over. We know that from a fact. We know that from her demeanor. Her demeanor before she got shot. I'm not mad at you, dude. Okay. 2, everybody sees the wheels back up. Everybody does. Most people are going to say, "Get your ass the hell on." And this is what they were saying. She was getting conflicting information. So we will take all of that. But what we cannot understand is, 1, before she even moved, why did he pull his gun out? He pulled his gun out before she moved, because we see him changing his phone from his from his dominant hand, which is the right, to his left hand. We see him pulling a gun out even before she's moving. Even before she's moving. So he had every intention of stopping her with the gun before she even did anything. So he already had the intent. Why didn't he move 1 foot to the right? 1 foot. That's all he had to do was move 1 foot to the right, and none of this would have happened. But why did he stop in front of the car? Okay. This is his videotape, and I don't know why he thought his videotape would make him sound better or make him look better. Okay. But it doesn't make him look better. It makes him look worse because you switched your hand. This is his guy. This is his phone.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
Now, as you can see in the shadow, he has the gun in his left hand. He has the phone in his left hand. As he walks back, he's pulling the gun out of his holster. You see he has the phone in his left hand. You see his right hand is next to the red bumper light. His right hand is down. He's dominant with his right hand.
I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen.
It'll be the same plate. He ain't with the
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car.
Now.
Out of the car.
Back up. Get out of the car.
Oh!
But as he came around the truck, he had already changed his hand. You had her license plate. Why did you have the need to chase her down? She's an American citizen. She's not a illegal alien like you all say. Why is it that you had the need to pull a gun out? You didn't have a need to pull a gun out. You had a cell phone out, which tells me you didn't think it was a threat at all. The other men who are around you did not think of it as a threat because they did not draw their weapons. But why did you draw your weapon? The reason why she spun off is because she saw him pull the gun out. And she saw him pull the gun out. That's when she raced to go another way. But she saw him getting into a stance to shoot her. She tried to fly away. So justified, no, the level of threat was not there because the other men that you worked with didn't think it was that much of a threat. Okay. The other people you work with didn't think it was that much of a threat. Okay. But you pulled a gun out even before. Give me grace, give me grace, give me grace, people, give me grace.
Unfolded in Minneapolis.
With all due respect, Secretary, the first thing you said was, quote, what happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle. And
no, they weren't. They never were trying to push out their vehicle. We saw them get out of their cars. We saw that there was no big ice banks around. We saw that there was no impeding them getting to the car trying to stop her. She was in the middle of traffic turning around. There was a ice raid happening. There was something happening up the street. She was trying to turn around. She was in the middle of traffic. People were going by her. She was waving people past her. The ICE agents pulled up, said, get the fuck out of the middle of the street. She was trying to do that. She was letting people go. She waved them off. She said, go around me, dude. I ain't got no problem. Ain't no problem. Ain't no thing. It ain't no thing. They came to her car, instigated this incident. And the only reason why they did it is because she was turning around because there was activity in front of her. So she started to turn around. Okay? There's no limitation on murder. Listen to her. She said, "Oh, they were trying to get cars out of the snowbank." It's a lie. And a lot of y'all believe that.
A woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and rammed them with her vehicle. That's not what happened. We all saw.
That's not what happened. We all saw that. So this administration is trying to paint a narrative, a lie. And y'all are falling for the lie. Do y'all see this dumb shit right here? Do y'all see this dumb shit? See, this is why we can't get nowhere as far as a country. We can't be great together because we got white trash people like this speaking for you guys. White trash people like this speaking for you guys. Y'all need to come get y'all boy. And regular non-racist white folks, you need to come get your dumb white ass boy who's talking this shit in the chat and making all of y'all look crazy.
Oh, what happened?
It absolutely is what happened. Those officers had been out on enforcement action. A vehicle had been stuck. They had come to help get that vehicle out. That's when this individual started blocking traffic for minutes and minutes.
You said that the woman attacked them and surrounded them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
Blocked the road for a long time and was yelling at them and impeding a federal law enforcement investigation. That's what
You sound goofy as hell, Isaac Democrat. I don't watch CNN. I just watched her interview. There's no splicing and dicing of the interview. You sound goofy. I don't watch CNN. I just happened to randomly run up on this videotape of her doing the interview. You sound goofy as hell. This is her interview, not mine. I'm listening to what she say. Man, y'all, even you Democrats, some of y'all just goofy.
you need to focus on, Jake, is they were breaking the law by impeding and obstructing a law enforcement operation. They were breaking the law already, and these officers were doing their due diligence and what their training had prepared them to do to make sure they were handling it appropriately.
You said within hours of her being killed, you said that she was a domestic terrorist. How do you define domestic terrorist?
She weaponized her vehicle to conduct an act of violence against a law enforcement officer.
She spun off because he pulled a gun out. She spun off because he pulled a gun out. That's the only reason why she spun out. And the person screaming no, no, no was the wife, because the wife saw that he pulled the gun out before Renee even started to move. She's screaming no, no, no even before Renee started to move, because the man, the whatever is Jonathan, had pulled his gun out before that. Okay. Before she even moved forward, he had pulled his gun out. So he was looking for a confrontation. And there should never have been a confrontation. You know why? Because she was trying to turn around because there was some kind of commotion ahead of them, and she tried to turn around. And the ICE agents pulled up on her because she was in the middle of the road. But we damn sure know, and my interpretation can be all wrong, but we do know that this lady right here is lying about why they were there. We do know this person was lying right here.
And the public.
How
So
can
as
you
they are doing that,
how can you assert with certainty that she was trying to hurt the officer as opposed to she was trying to flee the scene?
if you look at what the definition of domestic terrorism is, it completely fits the situation on the ground. This individual, as you saw in the video that we released just 48 hours after this incident, showed that this officer was hit by her vehicle. She weaponized it, and
She hit him with the vehicle after he pulled a gun out. trying to get away. That's wild. This is what we mean. This is what you mean. This is what we mean by the cognitive dissonance. We all saw what we saw. He walked away. I heard something about internal bleeding. This is wild. I heard something about internal bleeding.
Defended his life and those colleagues around him and the public.
The question is, I don't doubt. My position is, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. Some people say that it clearly showed that she was trying to hit him and did. Some people say, no, she was clearly trying to move her car and flee and get away. I don't know. What I'm saying is, how do you know? How can you assert?
That's right. We don't know. So how do you know within 30 minutes of it happening? How do you know and you ain't on the ground and you didn't see it? How do you know? Because you all are trying to cover up murder. You all are trying to cover up murder. She didn't drive 5 hours from her home. She lived on the street. Michael, I mean, how y'all just be dumb to some facts? I don't understand. How you be dumb to some facts? How? She didn't drive anywhere. She lived in the town. She lived on the streets. She lived right around there. How y'all just be dumb to facts? Everybody has the same Google. Everybody.
For a fact, within hours, before any investigation, this is what happened.
The facts of the situation are that the vehicle was weaponized and it attacked the law enforcement officer. He defended himself and
no, he had the gun out before she moved, which means he was not defending himself. He had a cell phone in his hand. That's what that's what is not being, excuse me. I always have a cold in this weather. That's what is not being expressed. He had the gun out before she moved. Yes, he did. He went into a stand in front of her car before she moved. Why didn't he move to the right? Why didn't he move to the right? Okay. Because he was taking a stand. He switched his hand. He switched the phone from his dominant hand to his non-dominant hand, and he pulled the gun out when he did that. Why did you have a need to switch your hand in the middle of filming? He was filming her, and he switched his hand. Why? In the middle of filming her. Why? Because he had every intention of pulling his gun out. He switched his hand on camera. We saw him switch his hand from his right to his left. Why did he do that? Because he was pulling his gun out even before she moved. He was walking around the car. We had a clear visual of him changing his hand, changing the phone to his regular hand and moving his hand down to his belt. Because he had every intention of pulling his gun out. He was the threat. He was the aggressor.
And he defended those individuals around him. That is the definition. When there is something that is weaponized to use it.
He is walking around the vehicle with a phone. Nobody has pulled a gun out. Nobody. He has a phone in his hand. They are filming the car. He had no threat. He did not feel a threat. Nobody felt a threat. At this point, there is no threat. Then we see him walking around the car and he changes the phone from his right to his left. Why did he do that? Because he immediately put his hand in his holster and got his gun, even before she moved. So he had every intention of pulling the gun before she moved. So the guard was not a threat. That's wild. Everybody could see him changing the gun hand. Everybody. And then he put his hand in his holster. That's wild.
Against the public, and law enforcement, that is an act of domestic terrorism. It happened in our shores. It happened here in our country. You don't get to change the facts just because you don't like them. We will continue to look at this individual.
Yeah, but you all should have looked at that before you ran your mouth. You ran your dick sucker before it was even done. That was the point. You ran the dick sucker before it was even born. But this is the cognitive dissonance that we have on the right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Because it's only mostly you right people defending this shit.
I know you don't like Trump, but you have to admit, things are going so well. He lowered the cost of prescription drugs. He housed homeless veterans. Grocery prices and gas prices are going down. This is what we voted for. Okay, but none of that happened. Yes, it did. I can show you the executive orders. No, I know about the executive orders. Do you know how executive orders work? Yeah, the president orders it and it has to be done. Nope, not how it works. Executive orders can only be the executive branch in existing, and it can see what to prioritize, but it can't get rid of laws, create new laws, it can't fund things, it can't defund things.
What the
In
hell?
fact, against the Constitution. Article 1 gives the power of the purse. Oh, he has to do something. Crooked Democrats let him get anything. Except Democrats can't. Republican majority in the Senate. So what he has to do is govern in accordance with the Constitution and pass Congress.
Hold on, this
So
shit sound funny. This shit sound funny. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me put it back in here. Because it sounds funny. I don't understand what the hell is going on. Hold on. Give me grace. Of course, give me grace. Here we go.
Not how it works. Executive orders can only.
Oh, it's just a video. Okay. I just got to skip it. Sorry.
Was what? Bringing whatever diseases in.
Why do we have to have open borders? Who decided that we have to have open borders?
I'm here in the Merch Hall at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference. We're here to find out why people came out today to hear a speech from Hungary's authoritarian Prime Minister, Viktor Orban. Here's what they had to say. What did you think when he said that Hungary doesn't want to be mixed race people?
He said refugees were welcomed, but illegal aliens, and that's what they are not welcomed. People are not allowed to just come into his country and take it over and take advantage like they do here. There's nothing wrong with that. And no, I'm not a white nationalist.
Isn't that frightening to you? We don't want to be a mixed race people?
Doesn't frighten me at all. I like going to France and having French food and French cuisine. And then I like to go to Britain and I like to have the same thing.
That's not really a racial issue, though.
Yeah, but I mean, what's wrong with keeping your country true to yourself?
I don't want the world here either.
Honestly, I feel like we're kind of full up here anyways. You try to drive on our roads. They're busy. You try to get in anywhere. It's super busy. I think that sometimes you can cut it off.
Yeah, so Maga confuses me because I truly can't understand the cognitive dissonance. Most of them detest Biden, and when you ask them why, it's, well, he's creepy and he sniffs little girls' hair. But you bring up that their fave fascist is on Epstein's list 26 times, and suddenly they're okay with that type of energy. They're calling Gavin Newsom a disgusting scumbag for allowing California to vote on redistricting, saying how wrong and how violating it is to do such a thing. But then they celebrate Abbott and Trump doing it in Texas. They don't seem to mind the violation of the Constitution as long as that orange ogre is the one behind it. They claim to be Christ following, but they are literally skipping in the street at families being torn apart. At this point, I'm wondering if they have backbones at all, or if they're listening to a secret frequency that allows them to look past their own moral values in favor of supporting Nazis under the guise of religious pilgrimage. All I know is purgatory, possibly even hell, is going to be very full in about 40 to 70 years.
This is wild right here. We can't let this go by. We can't. Wait a minute, hold on. We can't let this go by right here. I can't let that go by. This is goofy. This right here is goofy. Two-tone blue. This is goofy. The left is not the minority. The right is the minority. That's why people are rebuking Donald Trump's policies. Because you're the minority. Because your policies are getting rebuked. This is not, Minnesota is not the beginning. Minnesota is just the latest. Goofy. All of the policies that Donald Trump put into place, people are rejecting. So the right is the minority. It's the right that is leading to fascism, that is leading to authoritarianism. It's the right. When the right gets into office, our country falls into chaos, and then it leads to Democrats having to save the country. Always.
y'all.
If this election confirmed anything, it's that when a society is controlled by the uninformed and intellectually vulnerable, perception will always have a better than even shot at defeating reality. Knowledge truly is power. Those who possess it and, more importantly, employ it in their daily lives will always be better suited at shielding themselves against the siren song of propaganda and superstition. And those who do not will always be more willing to hand over their personal sovereignty in exchange for a simpler, less complicated life. Country be damned.
And this is where we at. This is where we at the cognitive dissonance. At its core, it happens when somebody thinks of themselves as reasonable, decent people, and then hears something that's just, they might be wrong about an important belief. That clashes, and that leads to stress. And you hear people crashing out. You see people crashing out in the chat. Democrats are the problem. Democrats, you don't know jack shit. 9 out of the 10 economies that have been under the presidents, the Democrats have prevailed. 9 times out of 10. Whenever a Democrat is in charge of the economy, we rise up as a people. We do better as a people. And you don't even need to check that. You just need to check the facts. You just need to check the facts. Okay? Nobody can. You just need to check the facts. I'm gonna play this video. Just check the facts. Nobody is lying here. This is the problem. Nobody is lying here, but nobody wants to check any kind of facts. And this is the kind of country that we have. Nobody's checking facts.
Because of the president.
Wait a minute, hold on.
The country isn't the way it is because of the president. We have the president we have because this country is the way it is, and I can prove it to you. My granddad fought in the Korean War. Back when, units were segregated to black units and white units. And when he was home on leave in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, it was him and a few of his friends that were also on leave, and they would always go on leave together because they wanted to feel like they had some sort of safety, which obviously was a fucking pipe dream back then. And while on leave, they decided that they were going to try to have a good night, have some fun, as people do. And they went to a movie theater, a segregated movie theater. And after the movie, they wanted to go get something to eat, so they were going to walk to go get food. And while standing on a street corner, waiting to cross the street, some white cops pulled up on them and said that they were loitering and they couldn't be there. And before giving them the chance to comply, because that's some of y'all's favorite saying is, well, if you just complied, they didn't give them a chance to. And my granddad watched one of his good friends get beaten to death on a street corner. Simply for existing while black. In uniform, by the way. In the uniform that was given to them by the country that they were fighting for that clearly didn't give a fuck about them. This isn't a new thing. It's not an isolated thing for all the people who think that, oh, it's been so long since it's been bad for minorities or since it's been bad for black people. That was pre-civil rights. That was pre-Rodney King. That was pre-Trayvon Martin. That was pre-Tamir Rice. That was pre-Alton Sterling. That was pre-Breonna Taylor. That was pre-Sandra Bland. That was pre-take your fucking pick. And now we're here. It's a domino effect. And now all these white people who finally understand what's going on because a white woman was killed. We've been telling y'all for a lot longer than the last 5, the last 10, the last 20, the last 30, the last 40 years. If we don't matter to this country, eventually neither would you. And here we are. I hate to say I told you so. For my granddad, for all the ancestors past, I hate to say we told you so. But sometimes it simply just is what it is, my boy.
It seems like all these conversations go round and round. You never can get through. Nobody, you don't even know a Democrat, but the Democrats lie. But the Republicans tell the truth all the time. The Democrats never tell the truth. The Republicans are straight arrows. They mean the country better. The country does better under a Democratic presidency every time a Democrat gets into office. We always have to straighten out what the Republican has driven into a ditch. We always have to do it. That's all you got to do is look at history. You don't have to believe me. Just look at history. And history will tell you every time we get into office, a Democrat has to clear up what the Republican has done. Okay? And it has to do with the right having this incredible message, and they can train you guys. They just train you guys to believe the garbage. Fascism is on the right. Socialism is on the left. Let's be clear. If y'all don't take no message away from this, fascism is on the right. This is where we're at, in the realm of fascism, in the realm of authoritarianism. We're nowhere near socialism. We're on the side of fascism. Every time a Democrat gets in office, we have to straighten out the mess that happens because of a Republican. We have to straighten it out every time. And it's because of this cognitive dissonance that Donald Trump got reelected. Oh, well, he ain't that bad. Grabbing him by the pussy ain't that bad. Grapes ain't that bad. Felonies ain't that bad. That's what people told themselves. Okay? But it is what it is, and we down this rabbit hole of fascism. We down this rabbit hole of authoritarianism and cognitive dissonance. Hopefully some of y'all break out of your bubble, because we need y'all to break out of your bubble in order to save this country. And it is what it is. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I love content like this on a Saturday morning. Yeah, I got a whole bunch to learn. I'd love to find out what you learned. Okay? I would love to. Do you believe everything Caroline Leavitt says? If you believe everything Caroline Leavitt says, everything that Donald Trump said, you believe all of that, then I got some swampland for you. I do. Oh, has anybody found out how who is that guy? Oh, the director of Homeland Security. No, the ICE border. There you go. The border czar. Donald Trump's border czar. Did anybody ever find out what he did with that $50,000 that he took from that undercover officer? Did anybody ever find out what did he do with that $50,000 that he got from the undercover officer that they filmed him taking? The border czar. Did anybody find out what he did with that $50,000? And on top of that, can you please find out what the big beautiful bill did for the regular ordinary American citizens? I would love to know. Please comment, put comments in the comment section. I would love to hear what happened to the 50,000. I would love to hear why is it that us Democrats have cognitive dissonance and you Republicans don't. Let's figure out why you guys are in the minority now. As a matter of fact, somebody put in the comment section why we have a blue wave going on. Somebody please put that in the comment section. why there's a blue wave going on if people hate the Democratic policy so much. Okay. Us Democrats believe in free health care, raising the minimum wage, free college for everyone, equal taxes for everyone, feeding the poor, getting veterans and homeless housing. This is the things the Democrats believe in. If you don't believe in it, then you're a Marxist. If you don't believe in those things that I'm talking about, then you're a fascist. Apparently, you all are more fascist than you are socialist, because you don't believe in what I believe in. I believe in those things: free single-payer health care, minimum wage being raised, taking care of our vets and our elderly, making sure every kid has free school lunch. Those are the things that the Democrats believe in. If you don't believe in it, then apparently you believe in something else. But that's what Democrats believe in. I'm a Democrat, and that's what I believe in. So where is that? Where in that is evil? I'm trying to figure it out. Since I'm the devil and I'm evil, where does wanting to help my veterans, putting policies in place for the veterans, Section 8, Medicaid, making sure everybody has medical, making sure there's free college for us, making sure we put America first. When is that not a Democratic thing? And how does that make me a devil? I would love to know. Put it in the comment section, because I don't want to talk to you goofy because you don't make sense when you talk to me, because I don't understand what you're saying. Put it in the comment section. I'd love to hear how what I believe in as a Democrat makes me the devil, makes me terrorist, make me X, Y, and Z. I would love to know. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of y'all. I will be back, because you know I will be back, because you know I will. I will be back, because you know I will. I will be back, because you know I will.